online platforms, retail locations, fairs and festivals. I sort of made that one big. What are your experiences? First, is it anybody who's really had good luck with a particular platform? I know, Vicki, you have tried some, and
Well, for marketing or for reviews or?
well,
That's a separate thing.
just using online.
Yeah, I found great
Pick one.
success and great failures in both, with different things. I've tried a lot of things. The biggest success, I'm gonna switch the topic a little bit, but I'm gonna go back to reviews. Okay, because, we were talking about this just before, and, I think my friend gave me a review and this and that and the other thing, and I could say the same. You're not supposed to have your friends and family give you Amazon reviews. Yes, I have some in there, and my brother-in-law put my real last name up there and everything else. I'm like, what are you doing? But it's still there all these years later. But getting reviews from strangers is really difficult. If you disagree with me, please tell me what you're doing, because I'd love to know. Now, you're going to hear good things and bad things about different platforms. It was Books Go Social. I forget, there were several of them. They all were awful for me. Maybe I got one review. I still had to beg for them to put it in the right place. The only thing that worked for me, and extremely well, was Pubby, P-U-B-B-Y. Now, people will say, oh no, that's not legal, Amazon forbids it. It's not true. What Amazon forbids is a review for a review. Cheryl, if I were to review your book online and you were to review my book online on Amazon, we do run the risk of getting in trouble in a big way about that, which is why I only review these books of yours on Goodreads when I do reviews, which is okay to do. Hubby will not allow the logarithm to match people together who have reviewed each other's books, if that makes sense. So therefore it's okay. And no one has to review your book. You're not paying someone to review your book. It meets all the criteria. Now, what is necessary about Hubby is you have to do your work for it. I did a lot of work for it. You have to review other people's books. And then you're allowed to request or you put your book out on display. It goes out, this book is looking for a review. They don't have to. No, it's a choice if someone wants to pick it up and read it. It's involved, and I don't want to spend all day talking about it. But as opposed to 0 reviews, I got hundreds of reviews. But I had to do it myself. And you learn how to review a book very quickly. I'm going to say something pretty drastic here. You don't have to read an entire book and be ready to take a quiz, a midterm on it in order to review a book. You can look at it, read parts of it, and say certain things about it that are true. And that's how I did quite a bit. This book is very well organized. I happen to like things about cognitive behavioral therapy, and there's so many of them for some reason, self-help kind of books. And I would just say, this brings out all my favorite points of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's organized in a very helpful way, and the author has an incredible amount of experience. This book and theory will be a great help to you in your life. I mean, that's just one example. Or I might say, I'm pretty familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy, and I found it difficult to navigate this book. You just use what you can do, or you could talk about touching stories within it. So the reason I'm saying all that is people say, I don't have time to read all these books. Sometimes you're not going to be able to stop reading it because it's so good. But if you think that everyone, and even your friends and family, if you really think they've read your entire book from cover to cover, I doubt that you're correct 100% of the time, or even 50. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Any questions about Hobby before I be quiet for a minute?
There is a fee.
Yes, of course. Oh, there's always a fee for all of these things. The fee, I think you can pay monthly. I think annually it was like $250 a year or something like that. And then you have to buy these books. There are free ones available. You get what you pay for. But you have to buy these books, but they're ebooks, and they're maybe, $1.99 or what have you. I was reviewing 2 or 3 books a day. And on my first novel, I ended up with about 200 reviews before I stopped. And yes, it takes work, but if you're not willing to work, you're not going to get much of anything. And it's work in the privacy of my own home. I'm reading the book, I jot notes down, and then I formulate a review. And the person is grateful to have it, wouldn't you be? If someone had something concrete to say about your book and say, oh my gosh, I got 10 reviews today.
Does it translate into sales?
Okay, well, that's something up for discussion, and it's a good point. There is different people will say, oh, this isn't true, this is true. I don't know what's true, but I've heard that your book comes up more on searches if you have more than 50 reviews on Amazon. And if someone's looking for a good book, I know me, if I see there's one review, it's not that I won't get it, because it's not only books, it's products on Amazon. One review, oh, that one has, 150 reviews, or I'm certain, okay, I feel a little more secure, whether I should or not, but I do, and so do most people. So it gives you a little.
How many books a month do you sell
I'm not
on
going to answer
Amazon?
that question, but I'll say a lot more than zero, and a lot more since I got reviews.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
satisfied with the number of books you're selling?
I'll never be satisfied with
It's
numbers.
what you
But I
anticipated.
feel very good, I'm very glad that I did that, and then I started just pushing for 50 or more for certain ones. I haven't done it in a year or so, but I did it right away, and I think it really looks good. When you're linking to your book, wherever you might link it, and they see that it has,
I'm sure that would help. I have books that have 5 reviews,
sure.
and so.
And now so do I, because I haven't done it in a long time,
So-
yeah.
If you're getting all these reviews on Puppy, are you able to transfer those over to Amazon or no? Or
They
It's
go straight to
automatically on
Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh, it does?
It's automatic.
It's run by Amazon.
Yes.
Got it, okay.
I don't
If I
know
may
that it's
share-
run by
I
Amazon.
think it is.
Anything's possible, that's for sure, with Amazon.
Ron, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to share just one little tip, a very simple thing, and we've done it with all of our books. When you write the end,
Yes.
go right down below it and say, if you've enjoyed this book, please go to
That's
Amazon
an excellent.
and write a review, and here's a URL for you.
Yes. Yes,
You put that right at the end of the book.
right. And
And then
In an ebook.
it's amazing how many reviews you'll get.
a lot of
And if
readers
it's on
don't know the
an
importance.
ebook, they can click it. You can make it clickable and take them right straight to there where they can write your review.
Well, let me ask you this. How many reviews did you write before you were an author and a member
Good
of
question.
Authors Guild? Did you write any? No, I
Almost
didn't.
Very few people write
People
reviews unless they're
don't know
motivated.
to write reviews. So I think that's an excellent suggestion. Thank them I put it in acknowledgement, thanking the reader, especially if you write a review. You enjoy it.
Okay? It's a little more visible if you put it right as they
Yeah.
finish the book.
That's fine, that's good. Okay. So we're talking about platforms of getting reviews. Platforms for marketing. Anyone want to speak to that topic? If they found a good platform? Why don't you tell the group about, well, this, I guess, isn't just marketing, it's sales, but about Kroger stores.
Yes, Kroger's, I'll talk about that. I know some of you have heard all about this, and I'm sorry to bore you by repeating things. But I also want to say I've done something else in the last couple of years that I did see a change in, I did sell books.
Pardon me?
It's very,
Okay.
it's work intensive. I have a newsletter. I started a newsletter. I'm rolling my eyes. It's a lot of work. And I've increased my newsletter subscription from pretty much almost 0 to about almost 200 now. And I do find that it sells books not only by the people that subscribe to it, but I belong to a couple of things where you do newsletter swaps. And one is called Story Origin, which is a blissful only $10 a month, very rare. And the other one is Book Funnel. I forget how much it is. And you can enter swaps, and you have to say, here's some more great books that you might want to read, and it tells you how to put it in. And you can see how many people clicked on it in their newsletters. You see all that stuff. And I have definitely sold books that way. Nothing mind-blowing. You know, I don't have a Ferrari outside or anything like that for my book sales. But yeah, but it did work. So that's something. And the Kroger's program is sort of back to the discussion. It's, if you like doing fairs and festivals, you're gonna love Kroger's. I belong to a program called Authors in Grocery Stores. And if you join it, please say my name, Victoria Winifred, I'll get a little credit for that.
Or Leon McGilly.
Oh, wait a minute now. We'll split it. But anyway, more importantly, that's a place I've had the most success out of anything I've talked about or done is my Kroger's. When I do fairs or festivals, as I did with this group, if I sold 10 books, I would say good, and I still would say good. However, I don't mean to put it down because it's really fun and you meet a lot of people and you're outside sometimes and it's great and I loved it. But you know, the physicality of it is a little hard on some of us, and you know, my back sometimes has issues, all kinds of things. But Kroger's is so easy. You set your own hours, you set your own days, weeks, etc. How many people have joined it and participated in it so far?
We've tried.
Oh, you did?
Apparently, we're too controversial.
I see. Well, if you have it, that is a thing. You know, that is a thing. They don't want anything, you know, controversial, political, etc. But they're somewhat open. But in any case, I just picked 6 book signings for next year. I'm doing one a month. And I mean, they don't mind for, you know, religious stuff, so whatever, that's just the way it is. So, what can I say? I'll go in at 11, I'll leave at 2, I'll have sold 17, you know. The best day I ever had was 40, but that was an anomaly. I thought, I'm gonna come to this Kroger's from now on, but it was a one-time thing, I don't know what happened. But at least 12, and that's within me getting there at 11 and me leaving at maybe 3 if I feel like it. I can stay longer. I set wide hours there, and then I come and go as I please, pretty much. They're too busy to care. You know, they're wonderful. And it's $75 to $100 per year to belong to it, and you don't pay any fees beyond that. You get 62% of your sales.
You know, on the heels of that, though, I tried to join them as well, and there's like 5 criteria that you have to be able to meet. I violated 4 of them.
Apparently, we did too.
You can't have any suicides. You can't have violence. They're touchy about language.
Yes.
There's a lot of restrictions depending on what you write.
Yeah.
If you're writing soft, fluffy stuff, you're going to be fine.
Well, it doesn't have to be fluffy.
No, but I mean, I don't mean that as any kind of criticism.
Well,
I'm just saying
I'm
that
just explaining.
it's just
It's controversial.
action adventures not probably make it there because if you've got too much violence
It's
or
the
you've got
violence,
and so it's limiting. I found
I
in
understand.
that respect
Well, if
because
you
I was
fall-
real interested
I know,
in doing
I
it.
know. If you fall within the criteria, I'd highly recommend it.
We had an experience with this organization she's talking about. And we submitted our Blood Brothers series, the book about the Civil War, and that was controversial, and that couldn't be done. Well, about a year later, Nancy gets an email that says, you've been approved to be an author in grocery stores.
Oh.
And so we said, okay, we're going to submit something else. So we submitted a couple of this love story, Spring Flowers in the Snow, about 2 old people getting together and falling in love and getting married. And that was too controversial for them. They rejected that totally. So
And
after
I
that,
talked personally with the guy who's in charge of it, and I said, well, tell me, what are you looking for?
Yes.
And he said, well, cookbooks, children's stories.
picture books.
And I said, well,
Okay.
that really eliminates a lot of
It does.
things.
It's strange that that
Eliminates most of
happens.
us.
I know Leoma's work is extremely deep and, you know, detailed, and there's lots of things that happen in her books, and
Yeah.
and she's successful there. So I don't, you know, we don't know. You'd have to find out for yourself, I guess. Everyone has, you know,
Well, they
their
read one of
sides.
your books and they decide based on
Sure.
that whether it
They
meets
actually
the
read these
criteria.
books.
And it's just one
And
person.
after we had already
Yes.
been pre-approved to be an author there, then they rejected everything we,
Well, anyway, you don't have to
everything we
do it,
submitted.
but I'm doing great with it.
They told us that we were pre-approved to be a member of this. That
And
was
so
what the
anyway,
email
it
said.
works for some people.
That's why we
Right.
submitted something.
I think it's
at the
important
same
to
time.
point out that there are limitations to the genre. Murder mysteries, I assume, would not,
I would
work
have to-
out.
I don't know the
you know,
answer.
although I don't describe the violence, but a person
Yeah,
has
I
been
don't know the
murdered,
answer.
there's some violence. Okay, yes, Leona.
Comment on newsletters. I've been working on increasing newsletters, and one of the nice things about being at Kroger is I get people signing up on my newsletter.
Good point.
And so I've gotten almost 200 people on my newsletter as
That's
well.
really great.
And that is a help because they say about 1/10 of the people on your newsletter list will buy your book.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a good
And you
number
have a
then.
built-in audience to
Yeah.
email to when you release
Sure,
something.
sure. That's important to have people that you can tell you have a new book.
What's the odds of a book about a middle-aged black man who is killed in prison and his spirit inhabits a white, privileged, young teenage girl? What's the odds of
I'll
that
guess
one making
not
it a controversial
I'll guess
going down?
All
And
right.
they're ex-Marines and they're cursing all the time, and some of them. I don't have
Well,
credit.
what I think that speaks to, the Kroger issue, is that we probably do our best, we certainly do our best, number of sales person to person.
Oh, yes.
That is just a standing observation.
Direct sales is
That
the best.
direct sales is the best.
Yeah.
I sold 19 books yesterday. Well, that's more than a month's worth on Amazon, you know. I can't possibly sell that many on Amazon as things stand, so,
You know, something I might throw in on this too,
Yeah.
a friend of mine and I were talking marketing, she's in that field. And she goes, the thing you need to do is look at your work and ask yourself what the demographic is of your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So what age group, what education level, what employment areas would find your stuff the most appealing? And it's gonna be different for everybody.
Sure.
You know?
trying to find
But,
it.
and then, so when you're picking a show to go to, for example, that would be probably something to consider when you're trying to select which shows would be a best fit for you, is what's my demographic and who's gonna be at this show, you know?
Nancy, that might be something that you add a third question, you know, when people are doing these events, is what was your overall impression of the general demographic of attendees? Because both Lavender, doing poetry, you pretty much need not trying to downplay any of the population, but you need an educated population to appreciate poetry, I believe, at least at some level. Lavender Fest, and then the one I did down in Alabama, which was an artsy community. Both, I sold 18 books at both, of poetry. You know, so if I know that, from now on, if I know that's the demographic of a festival, that's the ones I want to participate in, because I know I'm going to stand a pretty good chance. The Moo Fest, with all the farm families and everything, children's books would have done great.
Sure,
I sold 3.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a long day.
Yeah, that's something, Nancy, you could add, if you can pick up on what kind of demographic is coming to a particular show, if you know that, pass that along in the invitation.
Alternatively, maybe what kind of genre did you sell?
Yeah.
Because I think that speaks more to specifics. Were you selling romance? Were you selling religious, you know what? Because it's really hard to, I think it's hard to nail down demographics sometimes.
Not only that, you need a certain amount of mobility. I've been trying to do that, and I'm really worn out about it. So I'll give you an example. Like, my books are a little bit specific because they include a lot of, I'm from New York and I write a lot about my own, group. But, so I went to Philly about 4 months ago, and they were having an event there at the Kimmel Center, which is a great venue. I mean, that's a great cultural center, opera, ballet, the whole thing. I was like astounded that they even to acquire that venue. It was $80 to participate and be an author there. And it was great, and I sold a lot of books, and it was a lot of fun. because it was centered about a theme, and my demographic tends to be towards the Latino community, but I find myself chasing that demographic, and it can be very tiresome. But it's true what Cheryl said. The face-to-face moment is when you get the person, and you have a conversation, and the person picks up your book and looks through it and asks you all kinds of questions. What motivated you to write this book? You know, how did you start? And people will buy books that way. But it's a lot of work. And then, okay, so you went to Philly. Did you drive there? I used to drive to these things. Now I just don't want to drive long distances, you know. But I flew there, and Philly is a very interesting place. It's got a lot of history. So I felt okay, because even though it cost me, not because the event was expensive, but just getting there and being there, it was sort of like a mini vacation, you know. And I enjoyed the 2 days that I spent there. So that's one way of looking at it. If you find things like that where you go down to like you went to the arts community, did you stay there overnight? Or and you sort of like, you have dinner, whatever, you meet up with some of the authors there. So that works, but it can turn out to be expensive depending on where you're going. And it's a lot of work. You gotta, how do you get your books there? You have to, ship them, or, the best thing is to drive. If you're within a driving distance, less than, 500 miles for me. In the spring I went over to Charleston, and I didn't really sell very much. I sold a couple of books. But again, it was pleasurable being there. So to me personally, it wasn't a total loss.
Right. Right. Well, Nancy, if you can in your invitations, add whatever information you know about the expected number of attendees.
Yeah.
For instance, they usually have that statistic available, and where they might come from, or anything that you would know. Just add that as you can. And so we can decide which particular fair or event might be most appropriate for our books,
One of the things we found out this last year, sometimes you sort of stereotype a community, what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, you might be wrong.
You're farming, like a farming community.
Right.
You think you know what that's going to be
Right.
versus a metropolitan community.
Sure.
But we were really fooled at the Tomato Festival in Rutledge.
Oh, that's always good.
It was great.
Yes.
It was great. And the people there were very interesting. I don't know if they were all from Rutledge, but they were very
That's
interesting.
historically
mix of people.
true about that Rutledge Festival. How
And we
many?
sold 50 books.
50
51
books.
books this year.
51.
Yeah, 51 books this year.
51 books. See, that's a year's worth of, it's not practical. All right, we're just going to jump around to highlight some, because we're going to be running out of time, but we'll do this again. But for today, let me just skip down here. Does anyone have any problem, for instance, with pricing? Is that an issue? Are everyone comfortable? They know how to price their books? Hardcover and paperback. I have found $15 is the standard for a paperback. That's just across the board. That's a good, yes, Jim.
I agree with that. My books are, grown-up books are 15, middle grade is 12, little kids are 10. That's just kind of a standard thing.
Right.
Although, a couple of years ago, the Boom series is through Ingram Spark, which has different distribution, and I like their quality. But I got an email from Ingram Spark a few years ago that said some of our, because I have my books priced at 15, and they said some of our markets are changing rate of exchange. There were factors that were changing, and if you keep your books at 15, you're going to be going underwater in these markets.
Well.
So we recommend that you change it. So I went down to Union Avenue Books in downtown Knoxville, and I said, what do you recommend as a retail price for this book? And they said $17.95. So I said, okay. I still sell them 15 in festivals.
Yeah.
But if I if I set it up on
Well, if it
like
works.
through Amazon or
Yeah.
something like that, I
Yeah.
go with that price.
Yeah.
Because I was essentially told that I needed to do that, not because I'm comfortable with it. But, you know,
Okay.
basically 15.
I personally have an objection to the 95-cent pricing. That makes me nuts. Especially if you're putting books in a retail store. They just want it
Yeah.
a round figure, thank you. So, all right, writing contest. Anyone have very good experience or very bad experience?
Very bad experience.
I think that's probably what we're going to hear. Is that, would other people agree with that?
Well, I've entered 12, 15 of them at least. I think they were fairly serious ones.
And you have to pay for them,
Oh, yes, every time.
so everybody knows that.
And I haven't gotten as so much as an honorable mention. Biased as I am, I know this is a good book, a good read. I've had lots of help even putting it together.
Has
Not
anyone
even a
done
mention.
well with writing contests? Leoma?
Book Award Pro is a great place to go and join. You can keep a free thing or you can join it and they will submit things for you, but they will recommend, depending on your genre, what your book is, where you can probably be the most successful. And they recommend award possibilities as well as review possibilities.
You're talking about Book Award Pro?
Yeah,
And you're talking about reviews or writing contests?
they do both.
Okay, but your
But he's
experience.
talking
We were talking
about,
about writing
Writing.
contests.
Writing contests.
Yeah.
I don't even know about writing contests.
Oh, yeah, there's
well,
plenty
it's
of them now.
it's a content, I mean, it's,
Books.
You pay to be in
you
this
pay to be
contest.
considered
Yeah.
To get an
And-
award,
to get an award.
but it's okay, well, that's Book Award Pro then, right? I guess it's similar to places that I've paid for reviews, they're called editorial reviews, they're in a separate part of your Amazon.
Well, that's different, but yeah.
So that's different, but
that's
they also give awards.
Yes.
They also give writing
But
awards.
they're just
Like
doing
literary,
reviews.
like
They're doing
Literary
reviews.
Titan
Yeah.
gives an award, and if they like that, they'll also do, or they'll do an editorial and then they'll put you in their award
Yes.
program. Because I've won 3 different awards on public writing.
But is that the same sort of thing you're talking about, or that's
Well,
different?
They're just doing for you what you could do, couldn't you? if
Well, you can
wanted
do
to,
it for yourself, but
do
they
it.
are recommended.
Clearinghouse kind of thing.
Well, they have vetted all these places to make sure that they're really substantial organizations. They're not just whatever.
They're sort of legit at least.
But I think all of the ones that I entered were indeed legitimate, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, they can be legitimate, doesn't mean that they're profitable for you.
No, definitely.
Book Award Pro,
Usually-
the free version is really good because you can go and see the lists of places and, you'll get an idea of where you can submit. Paid version.
And if,
Okay.
and they send me
I get it every
emails
day.
all the
Yeah.
time about, this is available, this is available.
Yeah.
And, after 3 awards, I thought, okay.
Is there
That's
a
enough?
membership fee for this?
Okay, how about
It doesn't
There's a
have
free
to be.
version and there's a paid version.
It's called Book Awards.
Book
Pro.
Award Pro.
Okay, I'm changing the subject. Oh, something pressing, Presley.
Oh, okay. If I can go back just to the pricing issue,
Yes,
one thing that we have done. We do all of our books on Amazon, and basically, we can land every one of our books for about $5 or just less than that. We go to the festival and we price our books at $15, and we sell them. You buy 2 and you get 1 free. So you get for $30, you're gonna get 3 books, you get $10 a piece.
yes,
You're doubling your money on them.
yes,
And it's
that works.
the approach, yes, it works. And it's kind of like what I call the Walmart idea. Stack them high and sell them cheap.
Right.
And
Especially-
free is a magic
especially
word.
if
Free is a magic word.
Especially if you have a
Anytime.
series, so they kind of go together.
Yeah.
Well, if you get this one, you'll finish, And that's a good selling point. Okay,
And also-
yes,
One other thing, people tend to buy what you ask them to buy. If you ask them to buy one book, they're gonna buy one. If you ask them to buy three, they're more than likely gonna buy three. And we usually make most of our sales 3 at a time.
okay. All right, well, you do very well with your in-person sales, we know that. All right, how about book cover design? Anyone having a problem getting images for their book covers? Because there are 50 sources. Some that don't charge you anything, some charge a little, it depends, like Canva, you can get, free. I signed us up, we can all use Canva. Anyone having any trouble or success with doing cover
We've had
design?
great success, and we appreciate the work we've gotten from getcovers.com.
Getcovers.com.
It's actually a Uranian
Yeah.
company, but they're all graphic artists,
Uh-huh,
and they make sure that you get only licensed
uh-huh,
pictures or whatever
Yeah.
artwork you're gonna use.
Yeah.
But you can give them an idea of what you want, and they have an ability to come up with something
but
really
this is a
special.
great use of AI, because they have so much in the data you just described, Chuck, for instance, you described exactly what the couple would look like on his cover,
Yeah.
right?
340 times.
340 times?
Yep. Took
Okay,
340 images till I got the right one.
okay.
With
But,
that covers?
What?
With that covers?
No, with Canva.
Oh,
Get
But
covers
your
charges.
book with that cover of the two of you, and you told me you used that covers.
Yeah, and all I told them,
Jaw-dropping.
they did not have a picture of us. I just said, I'd like to show an older couple moving away from the camera,
Yeah.
holding hands and
Yeah.
going, walking in snow with purple flowers coming out of it. And that everybody thinks that's us.
It looks like that.
It's
It's
not.
unbelievable.
It's not.
It came from Shutterstock.
Shutterstock is very
Shutterstock
good.
is about 600.
Canva, Shutterstock, these are, what was the get one?
Get covers.
Getcovers.com.
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 Widely, everybody
They
recommends.
charge $10 for a ebook cover and $20 for an ebook and a paperback.
Fair enough. The only one that I don't
$20
have to sign up are the subscription
For
ones.
another 5 years.
Because I'm not doing a book every month.
Right.
No, it's a
To make
one-time
that
thing.
pay. But if it can be a one-time
Yeah,
or
it is.
something,
It is.
that's fair enough. No,
And they will adjust it. If you're
I-
not happy with
iStock
it, they
is
will keep
another-
working with it until they get it the
iStock
way
too.
you want it.
iStuff. Yeah, because you can pay individually for a photo
Okay.
or do a subscription if you need
Right.
a bunch.
Okay,
Get
I
Covers
saw.
has a subscription with 2 different companies who have photos. And they're licensed, and they give you the
They give
license
you the license,
number
so you know.
when they use it,
Yeah,
so
Okay.
that you're protected.
Oh,
and
good.
that's iStuff too.
That's good too. Yeah, you want to check that out. Canva is very good at coming up with images,
It's great.
but yeah, they're a little difficult to use.
Well,
I
the Pro
find.
is better, though the free version is not up to the job. in my
Yeah,
opinion, but
yeah, the
Canva Pro.
Pro.
We bought it and use it for a lot of stuff, but
Uh-huh.
it's the one high point about my book. I get praise everywhere I go for my
It's
cover.
very
It was
attractive.
Canva, AI.
Yeah.
We, put 3 images together and
Yeah.
we got it.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Okay, so everybody's good on that. Yes, Jim?
Does anybody besides me use an actual person?
Use what?
An actual person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, an actual
A person
human
that I sit down
being?
across the table
No.
with and
I've got an illustrator up in New York. He's a car artist, so he does like
Oh.
calendars and things like
Uh-huh.
that. He's not cheap, but
Well,
he
that's the
does,
thing.
he does great work. I
Yeah.
mean, I sent him the concept and he
Let's say,
went crazy on it. I mean, he did it's exactly what I was looking for.
yeah.
Did he do the
Yeah.
lettering also?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Cheryl,
Okay, it's-
on your latest book, you gave Canva acknowledgement on the copyright page.
Yes.
Is that expected? Is that a requirement? Or you just chose? to?
I haven't checked with a lawyer,
Okay,
my husband,
okay.
but I just thought it was a good idea. Sure.
No harm done.
Well, they want to know if you use any AI.
Yes, well, that- okay.
So that's why I cover myself. If I've used
You
it
click yes.
anywhere, I put yes.
Okay, and Victoria, is that what you said? You also acknowledge it on the?
I have many books, and I use real people for most of them. Some I don't. And I don't think I say, I have to go check to be honest with you. I think I have a cover generated in Canberra or something. I really don't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
And you're not required to, except when you're going through the steps of publishing your book on Amazon. It will ask you questions, and I recommend you answer them honestly. You know, I use partial AI to expand my cover. I'll just say it Photoshop. They don't care.
I don't think they do. They just want you to.
They use Amazon, AI more than anyone, probably.
Yeah. All right, I want to cover one more topic and then we, briefly, because it's 12:15. And that is newspaper coverage, any kind of in print, what do I want to say? Promotion. Our little writing circle was in The Connection, our local paper. Do you know how many people mentioned that to me at the event where I was yesterday at Telco Village? Several people said they enjoyed that, they didn't know about that. One person wants to join us, that's going to be a problem. We need to keep our number down. But there was a lot of interest generated in that. And when I was in The Connection with one of my books, Murder in Telco Village, I could not keep up with the demand. And that all came from that newspaper. So I want to ask Brenda, how do you get so much publicity? She is on television station. Of course, she goes up to Alaska to get on a station.
I think it's just who you know.
Just who you know?
And going back to knowing your audience. You know, the people that's actually Jim, it's the people that's actually getting the actual newspaper. Those are your readers. The people that actually like a real book, so.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of the reporters, and thank goodness for these small newspapers. I mean, I'm just blessed that they're still even in business.
Yes.
Because it's all online now.
Yeah.
People are still
Yeah.
online business.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think it depends on what the genre is. Like next year is and who knew, it's the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
Oh.
Well, there's one chapter in my book that's
Right.
Route 66, so
Sure.
I've already been on like 4 podcasts just because they're promoting, and they've already got stamps, believe it or not, postage stamps for Route 66 for next year. So I think it depends on who you know, what's your genre, and who your readers are. So.
And I know some of us have contacted the newspaper. I think you have, haven't you? Who has? You have. You did. And that worked. And then they did a story. And I'm sure you got sales from that.
Don't know that for sure.
Well, it's hard.
It's hard to
You
tell where
can't
they come
track-
from.
You can't track your sales. You don't know. But
I think
that's
the
something.
success is that what the Daily Times did, and the Knoxville paper has done the same, is like if you're having an event, if you're having a signing, or you're speaking somewhere, that actually gets people there to the event. So now whether that relates to sales, it depends on if they actually come, but at least they're getting at least it's content. And then we haven't even talked about the social media. I mean, that's really where the younger generation, and Audible seems to be going too, is getting the word out by Audible and social media.
Right. Yeah.
Sure, something I did, I don't know how it's translated for sales, but this year, one of the things I did was I donated several books to 3 different libraries.
Oh, yeah.
I contacted newspapers for these counties, and they came out and took a picture at each place I donated.
Oh.
They did it on the front page of the paper in each of these counties. That led to a radio interview, which led to a follow-up radio interview. So all from making a contact with a local paper saying, I'm gonna be doing this thing, I'll be donating, you wanna come out and cover it? And it just kind of took on a life of its own. So that's one option, donating some books.
Yeah, they're looking for community stories. These papers are hungry for news and information that they can impart to their readers, so call them. Yes.
Yeah, there's an organization called Chapter 16, or it's actually Yeah, it's big, it's big. It's out of the Tennessee Humanities Organization out of Nashville. So they're online, but they are connected to all the big papers in the state. So when my last book came out, I reached out to them, found the contact. I'd known some other fellow poets had been published or interviewed through them, and told them about my book. I don't remember all of the protocol, but I think they asked for an e-copy of my book to read.
Sure.
And that they would see if it was worthy, they would find someone, maybe we could do it, you know. So there was no promises, not everything lands, I guess. But probably about a month later, I got an email back that said, I've assigned your book to so-and-so, and she's gonna do an interview with you, which was an e-interview. So you have plenty of time to think about the answers. And that gets published online, and they're a newsletter that goes out weekly, and it's a big deal, you know. And next thing I knew, I was in a Citizens Tribune, or a Knoxville News Sentinel, and in a Nashville paper and a Chattanooga paper. That was just for one book. So it has to be a recent book, but if you've got a new book coming out, think about it. Chapter 16.
Well, you all have a very,
Couple quick things to say. I want to shout out to Cheryl here. She helped me. I had a crazy lengthy blurb out on my table, and she pointed out to me that it needs to be tightened up, bigger, less words, and it made a huge difference, I believe. I think it's definitely the way to go to catch people's attention. That's one
Shorter
thing.
is always better.
Yes.
Be pithy.
But the other thing is about reviews. I've noticed some people leave reviews that are just recapping the plot of the
You
story.
don't want to do that.
And that is not good.
No.
That's not what you want.
No.
And I think everybody should keep that.
Keep that
Front
in
of
mind.
mind.
As
You know.
reviewers, yes, however, the numbers do matter also of how many reviews you get. I mean, as someone who wrote books, who writes books, you're right, you don't want to, like, say something good about it if you can, but ultimately, if you can get someone to do that, you're lucky. Sorry. Jim?
Just thinking about what he said, I had a 2-star review, Pushing Back,
Yes.
that was a recap of the plot, leaving out all the interesting stuff. It was brutal. There you go.
We all have one bad review. Okay, anything else, real quick, we should adjourn.
Just
Yes.
really quick, if anyone's on Facebook or has newsletters, you should be supporting each other and being friends on Facebook and getting each other's newsletters. And
Yes, thank you for
that kind of helps.
You're always liking anything I post regarding my books,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that. And if we all did that for one another, you're right, it takes seconds.
Yeah.
And we'll help each other so easily.
Maybe we should do that next time, maybe have a sign up.
Yes, yes.
And again, before you leave, if you wanted to see me about potential events at Asbury Baptist Church, sign up. Have a nice day.
Thank you all.
Hi, team.
Cheryl,